Salut mes Saiyajin, je suis avec CHANG, celui qui m'a inspiré à ouvrir ma chaîne, à lancer ma chaîne YouTube il y a 5 ans. 5 years ago, you inspired me too much. The way you're talking. Alors vous inquiétez pas, tout sera traduit en français. Hein. The way you're talking, the way you transmit power and the way you give motivation inspire me to start my YouTube channel. See, that you do burpees and even so you are tired, so you keep smiling and you give power to people who want to do sport. I saw you that say, wow, I want to do the same. So give you the energy like this. And I feel the power inside you. So myself, when I see this video, I say, wow, he is a personal trainer. This is a personal trainer because we need to be focused, you see, when you do exercises. And you have the power to give this.
And I think you saw the power in yourself when you saw me do it. You like felt I have that power inside, so let me unleash it. It's like why this guy is so awesome.
Gogeta.
Yeah.
You unlock the power actually of the Super Saiyajin. To those who don't know, who is CHANG? He's the creator. C'est le créateur de Six Pack Shortcut. Et là, il a créé une nouvelle chaîne YouTube sous le nom de CHANG. Et en fait, il a créé une nouvelle méthode qu'on appelle le flow training. Right? So I say that you are the co-founder of Six Pack Shortcut, and now you have a new channel.
Yes.
That's named CHANG.
Yes.
And you promote a new system called flow training.
Yeah.
Can you tell us more about this training? And then we can talk about our similarities and synchronicity. He's like my brother, but in other timeline.
Yeah. Can you tell?
So what about the flow training, bro?
So flow training is a method that I created on a training method. It's a training method that after spending many years and looking for a way to combine fitness training to build aesthetics and muscle, burn fat, and also the benefits of practices like yoga and meditation and breath work and massage, qigong. These type of methods that are more for the inner self, more for spirituality, more for relaxation, calmness, centeredness, grounded, mindfulness. And I wanted to find one practice that combines both of them together because I didn't have time to do all of it. It was too long. And so flow training is what I created after finding all of these different practices, taking different things from different practices, combining them together. And now it is a combination of principles and mindset training along with physical training.
Yeah.
So when somebody does it, and you know, you and I, we've been doing flow training every day since we've been here, and it works on building an aesthetic body on the outside, so you're lean, you're ripped, and on the inside, you're calm and you're peaceful.
And what is really cool is that you don't need equipment.
Right.
And I did it twice, your training, the flow training we did together.
Yeah.
So I can say that it works well. Then we can feel well, the body is working, and it lasts 20 minutes of resistance cardio training. And then when we relax, when we do qigong, meditations,
yes,
we will feel the wellness coming on my head.
Yeah.
And I just feel very relaxing, keep calm actually.
We focus so much on getting the body to relax.
Yeah.
And the resistance training, you know, is only one aspect of it. But I realize, you know, a lot of people, when we think about fitness, we think about usually, for most people, two main things, which is strength training or building muscle, and endurance, cardio. That's a big one. And then the third one comes in, which is like flexibility and range of motion. And so I feel like it's good, it takes care of like the outside. But the inside, most people, they don't pay enough attention to it. They think, oh, if I look good on the outside, inside is doing fine.
Yeah, doing fine.
And it is better than, it is a good indication It's not like it's not true at all. If somebody looks good on the outside, it is definitely a reflection on the inside, but it is not a complete reflection. And this is what I had to learn, because after being in six pack and after training all these years, you know, I look good on the outside. And so I didn't think anything was wrong on the inside. But every day going to work, everyday life, I'm so stressed.
Yeah.
I'm always, my emotions is always up and down. And I thought it was normal. I thought this is just how people are when they work hard, you know? And I didn't realize that in reality, there's another way for us to feel. We don't need to feel so stressed and so frustrated. We don't need to constantly be defensive if people don't agree with us. There's another way for us to feel in our emotions. And you know, to be honest, I didn't know there was much of a difference, because growing up, it was just always kind of striving to be the best I can be. Emotions, I just let it go, like, I just deal with it, I don't care. I just strive for what I want to do. And then when I realized that there is another option, and that there are people that figured out how to be happy, how to let go of stress, I became very interested. And that's how flow training, you know, was eventually created. So a lot of training and studying.
It makes me smile because you and me have, I can say, similar past story and about the training, so the style of training.
Yeah.
We began about doing, like, I must say, most of personal trainer, like training on the sports center and training with heavy weight.
Yep.
I didn't ask you, but I think that I actually feel like pain sometimes when I train a lot, like on shoulders, on knees, on the lower back, because we left a lot of weight. Actually, we left a lot of weight.
Common thing: shoulder injuries, lower back injuries, knees, elbows, sometimes even around like neck injuries, sometimes doing really heavy deadlifts. And some people will say, well, because your form is off. But even when your form is good, if you go really heavy, it's such a small twitch. I learned that there are so many other elements that has to do with weightlifting that creates injuries. Not just somebody can have perfect form and still get injured. You know, and we'll dive into that a little later. But yeah, heavy weights. And
I think that you tell me your opinion, but I think this is because of the weight. Even you perform it in the perfect form, even if you do the movement in the perfect form, if the weight is heavy, so your articulations, your muscle, and your bones will feel it actually.
That's definitely true. And also on top of that, a lot of times when we are training, and even when we're not training, we are stressed. Let's say somebody goes to work and they're stressed from work. So now they're stressed. When you're stressed, you have tightness in your lower back, you have tightness in like your neck, and then go lift weights. And then when we lift weights, suddenly we get injured doing a weight that sometimes is not even that heavy. How many times have you been injured grabbing a weight off the rack? You know, like, and it wasn't even a heavy weight. I got injured before grabbing like a 50-pound dumbbell, 40-pound dumbbell off the rack. That's like nothing. You know, I can pull like 100-pound dumbbells off the rack, but how could I get injured pulling a 40, 50-pound dumbbell, or sneezing and hurting my back, or bending down to tie my shoelace and hurting my back? So many random things, you know? And I started to learn that some of it is because it's lifting heavy definitely puts somebody more in risk, but there's a big aspect that is very important for people to have attention on. And that is that when we have negative emotions, our muscles become tense. Just like when we stress, angry, anything, your muscles get tense. And if your muscle is tense, circulation starts to get cut off. Your circulation of blood, of oxygen, of energy starts to get cut off in that area because that area is tense. And if the circulation starts to cut off, and now you go lift weights, that area is now very easily can be injured because it's not getting the blood and the circulation you need, but you're focusing on that area. That's something people don't really look into. And I recently, in the last about year, I started to look into it and I started to understand that creates injuries. I was only looking and understanding before that when we have tension in our body, it creates negative emotions. I didn't realize that the negative emotions, the tension, the negative emotions also creates injuries when we lift weights. And I go, that's why before I would lift weights, and when I'm in a bad mood or when work is really stressful, I get injured more when I'm working out. I'm like, of course, that makes sense now, because it happened.
Is blocking on the
Yes.
specific part. We don't say that practicing and having weight is not bad, but we have to find the balance actually.
Right. And I want to add to that, if you are lifting heavy, this doesn't mean you're going to get injured, right? But you have to have a balance in like your emotions, because if your emotions is not good, you're stressed, you're angry, you're frustrated, you're worried, you're fearful, then your muscles become tenser, your body becomes stiffer, and now the injuries can happen easier when you're lifting weights. But in reality, even if you're not lifting weights, you can still get injured. So the point is, it's time to start to look at what's happening on the inside of our body, our feelings and our emotions. And people like Alex and I, you know, we admit that we both have focused so much on the outside, which is why we're in really good shape. But now it's time to go ahead and go inside.
You and I, we practiced a couple of years in with heavy weight already. So we know how to get lean muscles.
Right.
We know how to get six pack. And we realize that it is also very important, maybe most important, to care about our mind.
Yes. Yep.
To get more result about the body too, because if the mind is not functional, is not working, then the body is also concerned by injuries, and we can get injuries over the tendons, and the muscle can be damaged.
Yeah, with a lot of the people that are in good shape, the people that actually succeeded on building a good body, they have a really strong mind, because working out isn't really about skill sets. It's not so much about that, because anybody can learn how to exercise. It's not very difficult, you just keep practicing and then your muscles will grow. But it's having the mental discipline. It's like having the mental consistency. It's like having the mentality to go and sacrifice your Friday night. You don't go out with your friends because you missed your workout, so you go to the gym instead. So I agree that the mind is so important for building a good body. And before, I used to talk a lot about training the mind to be stronger, to have the discipline and things like that. And now it's interesting now, because now we're coming back and we're talking about the mind also being important for the emotional side, which I'd never dived into before. So now, in all aspects, the mind is important all together for building a good body, and also just having a good life overall.
And about building a good body, we train together already. I did your trial training, and
yes,
you also test. You also test my style of training.
Right, which is why I'm so sore today.
Do you think that after feeling that my type of training and yours also can keep muscles lean and
easy,
or may even gain lean muscle? Is it possible for you?
Absolutely. It's not just possible. It's very effective and it's very fast. And also, people can burn a tremendous amount of calories. Burn a lot of fat, because the type of training that we do, and more so on the type of training that you do, it's focused on both building muscle and burning fat, because there's the endurance aspect and also a cardiovascular aspect. a lot of people, when they lift weights, they don't sweat that much because they're not burning enough calories, you know? But your type of training is combining all of that together. So it's definitely very effective, you know?
There are people, if they only lift, the risk is that, yes, they can gain muscles,
Right.
but on the other side, they also can gain extra fat
Right.
on their stomachs because the cardio is not enough actually stimulating activity.
Right, right. And they have to be more stricter on their diet.
On the diet too, yes.
Right.
So I have a question. So what did you learn about the six-pack shortcut? And actually, this is how this is the moment I discover you, you know. And what did you learn about the six-pack shortcut, and why did you left six-pack shortcut? Like,
So like what I learned in six-pack shortcuts for working out or for business or
for working out, yeah.
working out. So, man, I mean, you know, six-pack shortcuts, I learned a lot when it comes to working out. I think the biggest thing is that I talked about before, and I still stand behind, is exercise is very simple. You know, when I was using weights to go and build muscle, I used a really basic lifts, bicep curls, you use a barbell or dumbbell, that's it, you know, and chest, just a handful of exercise, bench press or dumbbells and cables, that's it, you know. And so, you know, just kept everything very simple. And I focused on making the simpler exercises. I focused on performing the simpler exercises better instead of trying to focus on more complicated exercises. And that's how I was able to go and progress and continue to progress. And now when I'm not working with weights anymore, I take the same mentality. I take the simple exercises like push-ups, you know, pull-ups, dips, and things like that, and I progress at those exercises. I get better at doing those simple exercises. And, you know, the results are still the same. You know, you build muscle and, you know, you get stronger. And that's the biggest thing I learned. Now, why did I leave six-pack shortcuts? I'll give you the short version, which is basically, I had an experience about 5 years ago, and I experienced a very high level of happiness in an event that I went to. And after experiencing this state change, you know, this change in my mind and my body, this level of joy and happiness, after experiencing it, I realized that being in business, working so hard, building a good body, all of these things didn't directly help me become happier. It helped me have those other benefits, like having a good body, having more money, having financial security, helping people, but it did not make me directly be happier. And when I realized that was happening, and that whatever happened that day made me so happy, it changed my whole entire state, and it had nothing to do with any of those other things, I became very, very interested. And I decided to go and dive in and learn. And so I left the channel, I left my business, I left everything in my life, and I pursued to go ahead and learn what can cause a human to transform their entire mind and their entire state of consciousness, you know, and how does that happen? Because I knew it didn't have to do with success, having a great body, or any of these other things on the outside. I knew it had something to do with the inside, but I'll be honest, I had no idea when I first started this journey 5 years ago what it took. Now, coming back 5 years later of continuously studying and training and spending a lot of time with experts in this field, I learned how it works. And there's so much more to learn. I mean, we're talking about something that our species as humans have looked for forever, which is how to obtain happiness, you know, which on the lines of how to obtain enlightenment. And so there's a lot to learn in that, but I have a understanding now that has allowed me, myself, to change my entire life. And so when I left Six Pack Shortcuts, I gave up everything, and it was a lot. But now what I've gained is so much more, and has nothing to do with the outside things. It had nothing to do with the success and all my outside world. It has to do with everything on the inside. My life has completely changed. My relationship with my partner Natalia is entirely different than any relationship I've ever been in. My relationships with my friends now, entirely different. All different. The way I talk to my mother, all different. And so money cannot buy this, you know, it cannot buy it. And so this is why it was entirely worth it for me. And I don't wish for other people to have to give up their life, give up their business that they work so hard in to go and follow my footsteps. I don't wish that for anybody. If they have to, they have to, but I don't wish it, nor do I recommend it. This is why I'm coming back. So this way, maybe I can share enough of my experience so people can keep the life that they have and make as many changes as possible and not have to let go of everything and go on a freaking treasure hunt to go and find this idea of how to be happy, not knowing where the hell they're gonna go. Because that was me over 5 years now, you know?
Yeah. Okay, thank you for your answer about leaving Six Pack Shortcut. And something more happier that we send message in Instagram first. And you see, I thought that you were interesting about the same thing than me, about meditations, the moment present from Eckhart Tolle, and we can call that synchronicity. People say that we look like twins, but there is a point that I want to change with you. That what do you think about our meanings, our similarity, and our way of thinking? What do you think about that? How do you explain that? Because myself, I experience, you know, the sport in sports center, heavyweight, squat with heavy weights, something like this, push-up, bench press, and then I also realized, like you, that there is another way to get result, but with more respect about your body and articulations. Then I began to find solutions to, I can tell that efficient solutions to every body, that we have no equipment, you have no time, but you also can have the possibility to get a result.
Right.
And more than that, I live some situation that myself, I have lean muscle, you see, and I feel good on my body, but sometimes life do that I leave difficult action too. And if you leave one difficult action and you don't learn your lesson, the repetition, work on one more time on the life until you find your mistake. See, and even so, I have lean muscle, but it was not enough and I was also concerned about leaving the same repetitions. So I said, my God, training the body is not enough. So I began to work on introspection. And I was interested naturally about meditations and the benefits of that. Then you can say that the sport musculation don't only make you feel the musculation, the physical activity is not enough to make you complete and fullest happy man or happy woman. What do you think about synchronicity and what I say about all these things?
So have you heard about law of attraction?
Yeah.
Okay. So the reason why I'm here right now has a lot to do with law of attraction. And just like how in the beginning when you saw my channel and you're like, man, I see this guy working hard and smiling and encouraging people, I can see myself doing that. That was also law of attraction, right? So everything is law of attraction. It's like gravity. Whether or not we understand it or don't understand it, it doesn't matter. It's always happening, you know? So it's not surprising that now you know you're diving into spirituality, diving into synchronicities, diving into happiness and transforming the inside. And then now here I am, and we're here making videos and talking about this, you know? And so all of this it has to do with law of attraction. So for you guys that have heard of law of attraction, or you know have an idea what it is, you know, I'll share with you my explanation on how I look at it and how it works. So law of attraction is we attract what it is that we are inside, not what we want. And this is the most common misconceptions that people have about law of attraction. They go, I attract what I want, so I really want this thing, I want this thing. Then we look at then we write it down constantly, and you know, I'm gonna watch these videos on it, and I'm gonna believe it, I'm gonna get it, and I want it, and then it doesn't happen, and they go, it doesn't work. Or you know, maybe the law of attraction is broken, right? And so this is because inside of us, who we are determines what we receive in our life. It determines what type of people come into our lives. It determines the type of opportunities, determines the outcome on everything, including our emotions, to the way we treat people, everything. And so, in other words, if I want to go and become successful, I want to become a successful person, and I want to make a lot of videos to help people with fitness, right? But that's what I want on the outside. But the inside, I see myself as somebody who is not successful. And I see myself as somebody that nobody's gonna listen to, and nobody cares about and don't trust. They're not gonna trust me of what I have to say is valuable. Then, when I try to make videos, nobody's going to want to listen, and they won't listen. And when I try to help people, I'm not gonna get much interest. And I might think, well, it's because I'm not good. But in reality, the root cause of it is because the way I see myself is not the same as what I want on the outside. And so when we combine the two together, now we can attract what we want versus just attracting who we are.
Our thoughts, moreover, I just at this point that our thoughts must be aligned with our actions.
Yes.
And to master it without pretension, our system training.
Yeah.
It needs times.
Yeah.
It needs experiences.
Right.
A lot, and failing. So I started 5 years ago. If it takes 5 years, because I think it's normal, because it takes long times to master it, this sensation.
Yes.
And to be okay with it. Okay, I experience it. I'm not sure, but I try one more again.
Yeah.
Until you're aligned thought and your actions. And maybe, okay, I thought synchronicity with you, moment present, and now you are at my home, we're talking about this video together.
Yes.
I'm so happy about that.
Yeah, so am I.
And you know, we did a lot of videos about floor training, 7 minutes training.
Yep.
We did also a lot of video about the subconscious training.
Yeah.
You can perform your subconscious or make it higher or better to attain what you really are and what you really want,
right,
in the best way. I suggest you to follow my friend, bro, Mike Chang on his new channel. The link is gonna be on the description. And if you have any question about us, about his training, about his flow training or something else, whatever, please feel free to comment below the video. We say, see you soon. Ciao, ciao.